What's going on, guys? Cody Marchand from HeinzZeke.com back for another NFL Draftkings Week 12 first look lineup. We're going to dive right into it. What I always like to do is run alongside my article for the week, but I want to do something a little bit different this week, guys. I wanted to bring you inside of my process, show you behind the scenes, kind of break down how we get there, and then, you know what I mean, like, just show you the whole process so that you can take what you want from it. You can understand more where I'm coming from, where I give you these plays, and you can kind of see like where my head's at when I make these plays, right? So, you know, I didn't have time to do the whole article, guys. That takes me 8 to 10 hours to write that article. Then we got to edit it up. We got to post it. So instead of doing that, I wanted to get you a first look lineup here on Monday because it takes another couple hours to edit and publish this video after anyways. Like, it's 2:50 right now Eastern time. By the time you see this, it'll probably be like 5 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is just go right into a first look, and I'll show you what the article looks like before it's done, because like I don't have time to go into everything, but I'm just going to bring you alongside with me. So this is what the article looks like when it's done, right? Like DFS bargains for the week. I have all the positions: quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and defense. I give you the player. You know, I give you some reasonings behind why I like them. I'll give you some projections. I'll go down the list for each position. I'll give you a bunch: high price guys, low price guys. I'll give you an example lineup completely. Like, I'll give you everything. So, but to get there, before we do that, I literally go to the slate, right? And I go, okay, Tom Brady 6,500. You know, this process right here takes me like 15 minutes, right? I'm going to go through every player, Andrew Luck, you know, game logs, blah, blah, blah. See who they're playing, see how that defense has done recently, and then I'm just going to write them into a list, and then we'll talk about them separately. So that's what I did for you guys. I just went through, found quarterbacks, found 3 guys I liked at their price and matchups. Running backs, found whatever amount of guys at their price and matchups. Wide receiver, whatever amount of price in their matchups. Tight ends, defenses, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this article in with this video no matter what, so you can go along with it. Right now at 2:50 on Monday afternoon, it's not done. But basically, if you see this video at all past Monday at 5 o'clock, there's a 95% chance that this article is already done. It's going to be done by Monday. So if this is Tuesday that you're watching this, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc., the article's done. So click the link in the description, you get the whole article. If you're watching it right when this video comes down, this is actually what you're going to see. You're going to see it just like this, so that you guys have the picks. If you don't even care about why I like them, you just say, hey, give me the guys. Here's the guys. So I'm not going to go back to my article like I normally do because I don't have that yet. I'm going to do it alongside with you for a first look, guys. Let's get right into it. So at 6,500, I did not like Tom Brady. I don't know why Tom Brady is the highest priced guy on the slate. 17 touchdowns on the season, 19.4 fantasy points a game. I don't think that's worth it at 6,500. I understand that New York's bad, but Brady on the road, that's not where I'm going for my points. Look at the last 3 games, guys. 1 touchdown combined in 3 games. Like, that's awful for the highest priced quarterback on the slate. I'm a huge Tom Brady fan, guys. Huge Patriots fan, but I am not paying 6,500 for Tom Brady. No, thank you. Andrew Luck, guys. I've been trying to talk to people about Andrew Luck, and it's like, oh yeah, he's a guy. He's not just a guy. He has 3 touchdowns at least in 7 straight games. That is ridiculous. Look at him, guys. Just absolute machine. And, the shoulder issues, the shoulder concerns, those are behind him. He has an incredible offensive line. He's been touched, like not even sacked, like knocked down, He's been knocked down 3 times total in the last 3 games, guys. His offensive line is gelling. You've seen the videos of Brian Baldinger breaking down Quentin Nelson. That dude's a machine. I said before the draft, he is the best player in the draft. That's because he is. He's a mauler. He protects Andrew Luck. That offensive line is just gelling really well. They're creating huge gaps for the running game. The running game's taking some pressure off Luck. We got Jack Doyle back. We got T.Y. Hilton back. At 6,400 against Miami, Andrew Luck, it doesn't matter his price tag. He's going to be value. I think that there's a little bit better values there, but if you want to pay up at quarterback this week, I'm certainly fine with Andrew Luck at home in a dome, so he's worth it. Cam Newton at 62 at home against Seattle. Seattle hasn't been great, but Cam's been kind of weird lately. Yes, he got there with 28 points fantasy last week. Took him a little while to get there, and it wasn't his typical game. He didn't get any rushing upside. He kind of just got some long runs, catch and runs by DJ Moore. Got 3 touchdowns, so this isn't his best game. 357. Like, look at his stat line, guys. He hasn't hit 300-plus yards more than twice this whole season. So that's not really what we're going to see from him. We're going to see more of these games with like 250 passing yards, like 30-plus rushing yards, maybe 2 passing touchdowns. I love Cam, and I think at 6,200 he's fine. Again, not my favorite value, but he's fine. He's a good play this week. Big Ben was the first person that I wrote up on my list of 3 guys because, I just did my Thanksgiving video for my favorite guys on that slate, which you can check because that'll be linked at the description. It'll be linked at the end of this video. Just type in Thanksgiving edition, Week 12 DFS or Draftkings, whatever it is, and you will see that I talked about Drew Brees and Matt Ryan. I was like, Drew Brees has been a beast, right? Killing it all year. But don't forget about Matt Ryan. They have the exact same average fantasy points a game at 25.6. Now we look at Ben Roethlisberger at 25.9. He's having a better fantasy year than both Matt Ryan, who leads the league in passing yards, and Drew Brees, who might be the leading MVP candidate right now. So it's just easy to overlook Ben Roethlisberger as a fantasy player, but he's just been getting it done, guys. Like this week, yesterday, it's Monday, so yesterday, it looked like he was going to have an awful game. He had like half a point at halftime. Sometimes he had negative points depending on your scoring system. He comes back to get 26.5 fantasy points against a tough Jacksonville team in Jacksonville when Antonio Brown did a pretty good job shadowing Jalen Ramsey. Antonio Brown did not cover Jalen Ramsey, other way around. Jalen Ramsey covering Antonio Brown. But he still got it done with 26.5 points, and it's a much better matchup against Denver. Philip Rivers last week put up over 400 yards, and Ben Roethlisberger has much better weapons, so I like that. The week before, 38 points. The week before, 25 points. I think this is a great spot to get 20 to 25 points for 6,100. Probably my favorite play over 6K. But probably my favorite play on the slate in general is Russell Wilson at 5,600. The dude's just been super efficient. Like, he hasn't thrown the ball 40 times in a game all season yet. And he's still averaging... it's been kind of weak overall for the season. But that's because... So the reason I was so off of Russell Wilson early in the season, and I didn't think he was a great play, was because he wasn't running the ball. Basically, in the first 5 weeks combined, right, guys, he had 42 rushing yards total in 5 weeks. 5 weeks, 42 yards. The last 3 weeks, though, he has 150 rushing yards on 19 carries. So he's running the ball again. He's super efficient at passing touchdowns. Look at 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2. 4 of the last 6 games, he has 3+ touchdowns. He has 2+ in all 6. Like, he's getting the ball. He's getting it done. He's a great bet for, I think he's going to have a pretty similar fantasy day as Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think he has the same ceiling just because of the volume of the passing game. Yeah, he can break one. He can run the ball for 90 yards like he did here against the Rams. But, I think that his ceiling is lower this year, but I think his floor is ridiculous. I think he's a pretty solid play for 20 to 22 points. At 5,600, that's one of the better plays on the slate. There's going to be places where I pay up for Ben Roethlisberger instead, but I like Russell Wilson a lot too. Carson Wentz, whatever. Philip Rivers, whatever. Lamar Jackson is interesting, but I'm not paying more than Russell Wilson for Lamar Jackson. It's pretty nuts that in his first game he rushed the ball for 117 yards. We knew he was going to struggle through the air, 150 passing yards, but completed 68% of his balls. They were easing him in. I understand that, he goes from great matchup to great matchup. He went from the Bengals to the Raiders, so I don't hate it at home. This is a great tournament play. I'm not loving Lamar in cash at 5,700. You don't get the salary relief that you're hoping for. So in tournaments, I love Lamar Jackson. I think that's a great play, but I don't see it in cash yet. Maybe later in the week I will, but not so far. Eli Manning had a great game and a great matchup last week, and it still only ended up being 17 fantasy points. The only reason I knew it was a great game is because I knew he had a really high completion percentage. But, 2 touchdowns, no picks, low yards, but that's only 17 points a game. We're looking for better than that from 5,700. The last one I got to talk about is Baker Mayfield. He's coming off his best game as a pro, threw 3 touchdown passes, and now he's playing Cincinnati, who is just awful against the pass. So those two things combined make Baker a great play at 5,500. I do prefer Russell Wilson, only $100 cheaper. More expensive. So I would most likely pay Russell if I have pretty much the same amount of salary left. But I can get behind Baker this week. Let's go to defense, guys. I usually go like this. I look at the top 2, see if there's anything that sticks out. Obviously, Jacksonville against Buffalo, it's going to be probably Barkley. But if it's Josh Allen, we're not sure. I wonder. Let's check. Let's check if they have anything on Josh Allen right now. That's Buck Allen. Here's Josh Allen. Allen will put in a full practice Monday, on track to start. So it's probably going to be Josh Allen. It is what it is. Obviously, Jacksonville's good, but I don't like to play 4K for a defense, especially on the road. So I'm probably not going to go there. And then the next thing I do is go all the way to the bottom. Does anything stand out? Is there anybody that usually scores a lot or is in a great matchup that we can pick on with a cheap price? And this week, I didn't see anything specific. Eagles, no. Panthers, no. What did I like? There was 3 plays that were all right. Nothing's fantastic. So we're talking about Buffalo, right, versus Jacksonville. But for $1,300 cheaper, you can get a team that's put up more fantasy points on the year so far. They're playing at home, and they're also against a bad quarterback, if you think about it, Blake Bortles. The Bills have done pretty well on defense considering, always playing with awful field position, whatever. But I don't mind seeing Jacksonville travel up to Buffalo in what should be a cold game, 30 degrees, and Blake Bortles starting. I think they're going to run the ball a ton because they should. That's where, the Bills are weaker. But I don't mind paying down $2,700 here. The other place paying down looks kind of enticing is $2,400 from the Eagles. I know they sucked last week, guys. What did they have? Negative 4 points. But they still have playmakers on this defense. They're still a good bet to get like 5 to 6 points. And I know that's not great, but at $2,400, it doesn't have to be great. And it can bring you up to some of the studs that we like later on if you're looking to save a lot. And the other thing I am looking at is the Ravens all the way up at $3,300. They haven't been crazy with fantasy points. They're not scoring that well. But it's Oakland. I don't prefer them. I prefer in this lineup the most for sure is the Bills actually at $2,700. I'm going to put in Russell, like I said, just because I want to actually build out a lineup for you guys. And yeah, that's how we'll start it. And then we'll roll over to tight ends. Ertz is a stud. Weird game last week, guys. I missed on this one, but who could have thought that the Eagles were going to go into New Orleans and put up 7 points? There's not even like rhyme or reason to why it was so bad. It just was, a good team that's good against tight end and a great defense that just had their number all day. So, Zach Ertz, 6,400, I'm fine with it. I'm not worried about last week's game. The stud I'm looking at, though, is George Kittle. You saw Nick Mullins loves this guy. If you watched that primetime game against the Giants, you knew every time Nick Mullins dropped back, he's looking for this guy. They went to a San Jose Sharks game. The whole team, the main position players, C.J. Beathard included, George Kittle was as far away from C.J. Beathard as possible, sitting right next to Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins was on the end, so the only person he's sitting next to, George Kittle. You don't have to read into it. It might just be nothing, but to me, it's the guy that Nick Mullins trusts the most in George Kittle. I'm hesitant to go back to a high-priced tight end after Zach Ertz kind of burned me last week. But I think George Kittle at $6,200 is pretty solid. Gronk at $51 is pretty cheap, but you never know. He's supposed to play. We don't know how healthy he is. Sometimes he comes out here, he's a decoy. So you don't want that to be the case. But he's kind of fine when he plays. He's only reached the end zone once, but he has such a higher floor when he's healthy and playing. I said happy because look at his face in this. He just looks like a dork, but I love Gronk. But $5,100, not a bad price for Gronk. O.J. Howard banged up his ankle last week, so we'd have to see a little bit more, but I don't think I want to pay up $4,900 for him either way. Jared Cook, no. Greg Olsen, no. Vance, Evan Ingram, Jack Doyle, I do like down here at $4,100. Running a ton of snaps. You know, we know how much Andrew Luck likes the tight ends. Getting targeted in the passing game, catching passes. He hasn't had any type of ceiling lately, which, you know, he's not really the end zone threat, but he's just so talented. He's so trusted by Andrew Luck. Such a good offense. They're going to put up 30+, I'm assuming, against Miami. I like Jack Doyle at $4,100. I'm not sure that's where I go. And I haven't actually built a lineup with the guys I like. So me and you are going to figure out together who I actually like, who's the best value, so on and so forth. Just scrolling down real quick. I see David Njoku at $3,800 that I want to talk about, but let me see if there's anybody else that sticks out cheap. I think this is a pretty bad week for cheap tight ends, guys. Which I love going to. Van Nett, Antonio Gates scored last week. Herndon against the Pats, but $2,900 isn't super enticing. Jeff Hireman. Gotta give my boy Jeff Hireman a look. 5, 11, and 5. You know, he only had 4 for 20 last week, 6 points, but, you know, that's not awful. David Njoku, though. I know that he's been bad the last couple weeks, and that hurts. But I think I might have to go back to the well with David Njoku at $3,800. It's just he's such a talented player, and he has this like stretch of so many targets that I can't quantify why he's not getting the same amount of looks, the same amount of volume, the same amount of work. So I like David Njoku at $3,800. There's nothing that's a slam dunk to me though this week. I like Jack Doyle. Let's look at Herndon one more time. 4, yeah, not enough targets for me. I kind of like Hireman at $3,400. In a semi-decent matchup, yeah, I'll take Jeff Hireman right here at $3,400. We'll adjust, guys, but that's what we'll do. Let's go to running backs, because there's stuff that pops out to me, right? Saquon's coming off a monster week, 38 fantasy points, 3 touchdowns, 140 rushing yards. He's a beast, but at $9,100 against a tough Philly rush defense, you're telling me I can get Melvin Gordon for $500 cheaper against Arizona? Yeah, I'll take Melvin Gordon all day. $8,600. You know, he's going to be probably the focal point of this offense. I mean, he's the focal point of their offense, but he's going to be the focal point of my roster construction right now. I'm going to go back to the well, back to my roots. Pay up a running back, find one value running back, and go back to value quarterback, value tight end, value defense, value receivers. We're all about the running back here. Last week I messed up. I was like, yo, Michael Thomas is in a smash spot. Let's pay up for receiver this week. Don't do it, guys. Stick to running backs. That's what we're going to do. McCaffrey against Seattle. He had an average game last week, 17 points. Like, he has a pretty high floor. So at $7,900, that's a good spot. I prefer James Conner, who's coming off a struggle game against Jacksonville. Denver's much easier to run against, obviously. Jacksonville's strength is actually stopping the run this year. I think they're ranked second at stopping the run so far. But, you know, he's still got 9 targets. He's still a focal point of this offense. He was a drop away from a 25-yard touchdown catch. So I like James Conner. You know, he's putting up 25 points a game. He's a focal point of the passing game. He's their entire running game. Let's build around Melvin Gordon and James Conner, guys. Let's see what happens when we do that. Let's see if there's anything else we like real big studs. I like David Johnson. He's been killing it. You know, 19 points, 37. This could have been more. He had a 50-yard touchdown called back on holding. James White could be good this week. Mixon at $6,800 is pretty tough to be this cheap. He's been super inefficient running the ball, but he's still getting all the goal line work, still getting targeted. That's a good price for Joe Mixon. Leonard Fournette, another great price, $6,700 for somebody that's getting like 26 carries a game over the last 2 games in a pretty decent matchup. 27 points, 22 points. I think Leonard Fournette should be in a lot of places. I'm thinking about coming back up to him, so keep that one bookmarked. Nick Chubb is a stud, guys. I love Nick Chubb. I know he's priced all the way up to $6,300. We were riding him heavy down here at his 3K and 4K range, but He's priced a little bit better. Still, I think it's a good value against the Cincinnati defense. That's just awful. Gus Edwards just tore them up last week, and Nick Chubb's much better than Gus Edwards. You know, coming off his best game ever. I like Nick Chubb at 6,300. I'm going to go running back heavy this week, I can already tell. Because I like Sonny Michel at 5,800. I think the Patriots are going to come out, run the ball, and run it well. Michel's better when he gets into it, right? Like, he was getting into it. All right, I'm here. I'm back. And it's the same thing with this injury, guys. You know, he tweaked it here. This is his first game back. I think Sonny Michel's going to be back around that 80, 90, 100-yard mark. And I think the Patriots win. I think that they can run the ball, so we'll see. Breida's in a good spot, but it's a little bit too expensive for me. Lindsey's been a beast. Had a great game last week. 26 points, 2 touchdowns. He's just been awesome. But I think where I'm going to go with my flex right here with Marlon Mack. Their offensive line has been playing phenomenal, and Miami cannot stop the run. So that is where we're going to go. We're going to put Marlon Mack in our flex, and we're going to roll around Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Marlon Mack. We're going to get like 20. We're going to get 70 touches total from our running back, so that's what we're looking for. We're back to our roots, guys. Back to running back heavy football. Receivers, they priced Odell Beckham very well, which they should have because, you know, he is playing against Philadelphia. And it's just like Michael Thomas last week at 8,800. I thought it was a smash spot because Philly can't stop him. But I also thought Odell was in a smash spot when he takes his first catch, 41 yards. And then he catches a sweet touchdown catch that had nice, solid hands. And they had 4 targets all game. So you don't want to be trusting Eli Manning. You don't want to be trusting paying $8,800 for a receiver because we want to be paying up for these guys. Tonio's a beast, matchup proof. Mike Evans is sweet at 7,700. He's just such a stud. 20 points a game, 95 receiving yards a game, and, you know, what is this, 5.5 catches a game? That's, you know, he's been great all year. 7.7, I like that price for him. Juju could be good this week. Keenan Allen at 7,100 is really cheap. It's a really great value. I think I chose to write him up too. Yeah, I liked Mike Evans and I liked Keenan Allen. Tyler Boyd though at 6K. Let's get back down to Tyler Boyd at 6K. Real quick about Keenan Allen though, guys. We all know how much of a second half player he is. You know, and that's what it is the last 3 weeks. 24, 17, 24. He gets better as the season goes on, guys, and 7,100 is still a great price. We're still getting discounts there. Tyler Boyd, though, at 6K, there's a chance A.J. Green comes back. I'm going to check him real quick, but Tyler Boyd is much better with A.J. Green in there. Playing against a team that's weaker against the slot receivers than they are on the outside. And I think at 6K, the ability for Tyler Boyd to hit 18 points is pretty high. They just look at this. He did it 3 weeks in a row and did it well. Averaging about that. So if he has an above average game, above expected, which I think they will, especially at home, I do think that 6K for Tyler Boyd's pretty strong. I want to throw him in there. I know that it's going to bring me down here for my average remaining. That's okay. You know, we wanted to see. They haven't said anything about this week, so I'll keep you guys posted on that as the week progresses. Who else down here? Alshon, no. Sanders, no. John Brown, Sterling, Lockett, Doug Baldwin at 5,100. So you guys watched that game on Thursday between the Seahawks and the Packers. Doug Baldwin looked like he was kind of back. I know he only had 52 yards. He only caught 7 passes, but he got a touchdown, 18 points, and he looked like he's back to being the focal point of their passing game. He made a sweet triple move. It was an out and up and out, which would just fool the defender bad. He had an awesome quick out on the touchdown catch. He looks healthier every week, but he looked a lot healthier last week. And at 5,100, I think that's a steal right there. Going down the list, we got to talk about DJ Moore because we talked about him a bunch last week and he went off. 7 for 157 and a touchdown. We talked about how good the matchup was against Detroit, and he just brought it. You know, set career highs and everything. Even that touchdown was man-to-man against Darius Slay, so even when he got the tougher matchups, he still was fine. He took one 82 yards, I think. He took it from like the 5 to the 14 or something like that. DJ Moore at 4,600 is a great value. Ty Will, Michael Crabtree, Christian Kirk, Willie Snead. I like Willie Snead a lot, but just not with Lamar Jackson. Sutton, John Ross, Humphreys, who I've been riding, who did great last week, 15 points. Nothing sticks out to me down here, actually. DJ Moore is kind of nice at 4,600. What if I do that? What do I get for tight end? Jack Doyle is 4,100. I know that. All right, guys. So that's going to be our first look lineup right there. We're going to do Russell Wilson, Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Tyler Boyd, Doug Baldwin, DJ Moore, Jack Doyle, Marlon Mack, and the Bills defense. I like it, And if you follow along all the way to here, please do me a favor and like the video. Subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be putting out daily content. We're going to be putting out all these articles. Like I said, we're going to have this article done tonight at some point. Right now it's 3:15. So we're going to have this article done for you tonight. But if you're watching it as soon as I upload, just know that, hey, it's just going to see the players. So if you want just the guys, they're there. But, I really appreciate you guys following along. I love making these videos for you. Tweet me at Hide and Seek. Let me know who you're using this week. Let me know how you did last week. And let's get this money, guys. Take care.